Hello, welcome back to Stagehand Sh, the show where we talk about doing theater, being a stagehand, having fun, living life, being who we are on the inside. If you don't know who I am, that's great, I don't care. But today I'm going to talk about the different departments that go into like setting up and taking down a show, also known as a load-in and a load-out. What? Again, this is not going to be covering show call. I don't think I have enough experience with that to really be discussing that part of being a stagehand, but there are some people who do. One of them is this dude named Mitchell. I'll tag his account. He's pretty great. Okay, so departments. First of all, figuring out which department you're in, I guess that's what's more important. This is different for pretty much every local. I work with locals that use Call Steward, and that'll tell me my department online before I even say yes or no to a shift. And then there are locals like the one I work with where I just show up to a call and they're like, "You're a carpenter today." And all I can say is, oh god. But I guess if worst comes to worst, just find the person who's working as job steward that day and he should be able to tell you which department you're in. So, here are the common departments. Up first, we have carpentry. This department covers almost everything that's visible on the stage. They're the ones who put up the big set pieces, and then they hang the drapes and the curtains. They'll also put a deck down if that's part of the set. There's definitely a lot more to it, but I specialize in scene shop carpentry, which is a bit different. The scene shop is more of like building a Lego brick out of like plastic pellets, while carpentry is like kind of like putting these Lego bricks together and making a set. Number 2, electrics. Okay, now some people are going to say video and audio are part of electrics, and sometimes they are, but in a lot of instances they're their own department. So in this case, electrics means lighting. This is the department I worked in the most, have the most experience with union calls, and I love it. I love it. This generally entails putting truss together, laying out and putting away cables, breaking your back with 70-pound vipers. It's fun. And then sometimes there's the front of house crew that does a lot of the light focusing. This is my favorite group. This is the one that I do a lot, and it's a lot of fun. Number 3, audio. You better know how to over-under, because you will be coiling cables for the rest of your life. You also deal with the subs and the amps, and it's a lot like electrics, just with audio equipment instead. And then there's video. Sometimes this exists, sometimes it doesn't exist. Just depends on if they have video in the show. And don't feel left out, because you also get to deal with cables in this department. And then there's also these like big video wall panels. There's also other methods, but this is just kind of the route I've seen shows go lately. Number 5, props. Props is, it's the friends we've made along the way. No, it's the department that does like literally everything. They do the props, they do the sweeping, the mopping, the pits, sometimes catering, merch, arson. If it exists, they've done it. And then they generally become pushers at the end of it all. Speaking of pushers, no drugs. No drugs. It's a side hustle, but not that kind of side. Pushers push. Boxes. And gondolas. And carts. Anything you can push. But before you say, that sounds like it sucks, everything is what you make of it. And I can tell you some of my favorite and most memorable shifts were from when I was a pusher. Oftentimes, this is how a lot of people will start out. But this is really great because it gives you time to ask a lot of questions, just kind of take everything in, plus you're taking equipment from all these different departments and kind of just seeing it up close for the first time. And you're also getting a good workout. So after you do that for a while, they might move you to a different department. But that doesn't mean you can be a jackass to the pushers. We're all putting up and taking down the same goddamn show. There's also pyro that does like fire and confetti and stuff like that. Backline, which will deal with instruments at a concert. Riggers, which deal with a lot of the motor stuff. There's upriggers and downriggers. Upriggers are the ones calling heads, and downriggers are the ones swearing at the upriggers. There's also wardrobe, hair, and makeup, which generally they're their own kind of entity. They deal with costumes, hair, and makeup. And sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. It really just depends on where you are and what show you're working. This is just a very overgeneralized summary. Now, if I forgot anything, feel free to leave a comment. Also, if you specialize in anything, feel free to leave it in the comments as well. And as always, feel free to DM me if you have any questions. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, or I will point you in the direction of somebody who probably knows the answer. All right, stay spicy, y'all.